I'm State Senator Elbert Guillory, candidate for the Louisiana's 6th Congressional District. And I'm here to participate in Louisiana on Fire.
What's up, Louisiana? It's Tim Davis again, and you are sitting for part 3 with Senator Elbert Guillory. And we are learning so much about him. Look, I'm laughing too, you guys, off camera. This gentleman is hilarious, all right? But we're going to get a little serious on this stuff too, because he's a politician. So we're going to get into what he does and all this good stuff. So, Senator, a few years ago, you made a video that some deemed as controversial. What was your thought process on the video that you made?
I switched parties. Basically, I'd been a lifelong Democrat. I'd been a Republican in there because if my boss was Republican, I had to be a Republican.
Right.
The first time I ran into that was the governor of Illinois.
Okay.
So I just joined his cabinet, and we shook hands and worked out all the details. I was on my way out the door, and he said, "Oh, Guillory, you are a Republican, aren't you?" And my eyes opened. For me to be the chief civil rights enforcement officer for the state of Illinois, I had to be a Republican.
Really?
So without missing a beat, I said, "No, Governor, I'm not, but I will be in the morning."
Right.
Yeah, and the next morning I was.
Just like that. Just
like that. I mean, why would I be concerned about a D or an R when being the chief civil rights enforcement officer for that state was at stake?
Right.
That's much more important than D's
In a letter.
and R's.
Right.
So, about this video, I decided 13 years ago that the Democrat Party had basically left me behind. They'd become anti-gun, and I'm a pro-gun boy. They'd become very, very pro-abortion on demand. And 1 million babies murdered every year. About 70% of those black babies. I could not countenance that. That's just not. That's not a Christian situation. We have to find some other solutions to that problem. Those are the kinds of things that I had to deal with, and so I decided to leave the party. And federal spending, their spending was just skyrocketing, and that's bad for us. It's driving up the cost of living. People were having more and more and more difficulty just making it from paycheck to paycheck.
Right.
So those kinds of things.
Yeah.
So I had to switch. And so I made a video to explain to the folks back home what I was doing and why I was doing it. And next thing you know, millions of people saw it.
Right.
And it's on YouTube, Elbert Lee Guillory, Why I Became a Republican, if you'd like to see it.
Right. Because I've watched it, and you went into detail, on that particular video too. And I think people would appreciate anybody going into detail about making a decision like that. Because right now with the times, every vote matters, counts, and everything. Absolutely. So I think that was very, very bold of you. And the video that prior to that, a few years ago too, that you did you get a lot of backlash on that one, or?
Which one? The one in the field?
Yes, sir, that one.
I get some backlash on all of these things that I do. Um, People call me some real bad names sometimes, but they've always done that. I've always stood for what's right, and sometimes I'm the only person standing up for what's right. We talked about cockfighting a while back.
Yes, sir.
One voice against all of the other voices. I'm going to always do that. I'm going to stand up for what's right. And as long as my mama and daddy are okay, I believe that they're okay with it. And particularly as long as my God is, I don't mind.
Right.
I'll take the fire.
Yes. And I feel like that seems like that's how you've always been as far as, and you stood on that. You wouldn't say always go against the grain, but when you felt the need to, you stood on, and you felt, and you put like they say, 10 toes in. You didn't move.
That's it.
So I do have this question for you, and it's kind of, you can feel free to answer it or not though, but how do you feel on both presidential candidates right now? Because we talked about, like, having to meet in the middle, but how do you feel about both?
I'm disappointed that America has not come forward with a more presidential, more talented, more qualified set of people. I'm concerned about the ladies' abilities or lack of abilities and lack of experience. I'm concerned about the gentleman's inability to keep his mouth closed at the time when it needs to be closed. He lets too much stuff escape from his mouth, and I'm concerned. I have some concerns about his foreign policies.
Okay.
As a veteran, I'm concerned that he may get us involved in more foreign wars, and I've watched the bodies coming off, unloaded from a cargo plane. And it's a very sobering thing to think 60,000 young Americans, 60,000 families, 60,000 lives, sons, fathers, brothers, destroyed in a foreign war. As I always said, I didn't believe in it. Even when I went to sign up, I still did not believe in that war.
Right.
But I believed in the country that was fighting that war. And now I have a voice. So when the politicians get ready, and most of those politicians ducked and dodged that Vietnam War. Check them out. Very few. But they're willing to send your children
Right.
to fight a war. But they couldn't go themselves. So I'll be watching.
Right. So for you, since you're running yourself, you said you would have to go to DC and everything. Can you explain to us, as far as, if you win this election, what is going to be different for you? Because you'd have to go to DC a lot, or you still would do things from home, or you have to meet with people?
I'll have to get a place in DC.
Okay.
And spend much time working out of that apartment over there.
Okay.
That's not going to be a big sacrifice, because I've been there before, and I had an apartment in DC before, so it's fine. I'll be able to adjust very quickly to that. I will miss the peace and quiet of my house out in the country.
Yes.
I live in a little wood house in the same cornfields where I broke corn when I was a little boy.
Wow.
That cornfield has been in the family for at least 3 generations. So I'll miss that. But I'll be able to come home every now and then and get back to my house.
Yes.
Be able to cook And,
Oh, yeah, because the food is going to be a tad bit different out there in DC.
oh yeah,
So
I'll lose weight, man.
we don't need that now. We have to look. We know some people that that can actually make a gumbo for you and ship it to you, and all you got to do, I think, is defrost it or something. So
Oh, I promise you, I'm gonna cook a bunch of food, probably 2 months worth of food, and freeze it. And I will take a big freezer and go up every time I come home.
Right.
I'll fill up the freezer. I love my cooking. As a matter of
Yes.
fact, I have my own seasoning called Guillory's Gator Dust.
come on.
I usually have a can of it right here.
And is that something that's sold in stores?
No.
Oh, okay, all
The
right.
only way you can get it is from
Through
me.
you, okay. And we're not gonna ask the secrets to it or nothing. No, that's you keep that to yourself.
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna bring that to DC, and you're gonna have your constituents. Is that what they call it? You're gonna give them a little taste, or you think that will persuade them whenever you up there?
I'll give them some words. But I ain't giving them my seasoning.
Not gonna give them that.
No.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
I will give you and your assistant some gator dust before you leave here today.
Oh,
But I ain't giving that to them, boy.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's gonna be great though. And so, being that, like I said, we were speaking off camera. I'm big into history and understanding the climate, how things were prior to me being born. But for you, everything you've experienced, what would you like to see from my generation going forward?
I need for you to protect the freedoms and the opportunities that America has. There's nothing more valuable. Behind you is stuff that I've brought back from all over the world. I've traveled many countries. If you name 3 countries, I know for sure I've been to at least one of them. Russia, Ukraine, all over the place.
Come on.
The freedoms that we have here just are not existent anywhere else. So take care of that. And just be fair to everybody. Make sure that everybody has a fair shot. That's my advice to you. That's my request of you.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be watching from upstairs.
Yes, sir. I know you will be. It won't be anytime soon, though. Because they got a long history, apparently, with over 100 years, so we'll be around for a while.
Well, they lived long, but they never were subjected to the stresses that I deal with on a daily basis. So whenever my boss calls me, I'm going. Mm-hmm. When the Lord calls, I'm not going to say, are you calling me, Lord? I'm just going to say, yes, sir.
Right. When that number's called.
That's it.
Yeah.
I will not look back, and I won't be lying down in some old moldy bed wishing that I had done this or that. I'm going to do this and that now. Mm-hmm. And when he calls, I'll be working.
Right. You do so much now. I don't think that I couldn't see you just laying down.
I couldn't. I'd go berserk.
I'll be honest with y'all. I was sleeping when Senator texted me back to do the show. It was like 11:30, almost 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I woke up the next morning. Wow, I didn't expect that at all.
That's when I get to work on my telephone.
Right. Oh, you just nonstop though. It's good though. It's really good. You're going, and I appreciate everything. I usually have a question that I ask. I usually bring a will, but I didn't bring it. Same thing for last episode that I did. It's my fault, but I did have a question for you, sir. So, since you're from Louisiana and everything, there's 4 things that they do. They make a little meme about it. So if you had to take one away, what could you go without? We're gonna say gumbo, crawfish, boudin, or something. Let's see. What else is Louisiana that we love down here?
Catfish.
Catfish. So out of those 4 things, what could you go without and never have it again? Because if you winning, you gonna be in DC, like we said, so you have to cook a lot. So you may miss something.
I would give up boudin.
Yeah.
I would give up boudin. I don't ever want to live in a world without gumbo and catfish, because you can cook catfish in so many different ways.
That is true.
You fried catfish, broiled catfish.
Yes.
Oh man, catfish coubillon.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give up the boudin.
I think I agree with you, because I love crawfish, I love gumbo, and I eat some crawfish, some catfish as well. So I could do without boudin. Everybody's got boudin, and I look the boudin places. Hopefully I can interview one or all of y'all, you know. But yes, I could do without boudin though. That I could do.
I wouldn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I would do it if I had to give it up.
Mm-hmm.
But in a world without being able to boil crawfish,
I know, huh?
And all the stuff you can put in there.
Yes.
Some potatoes, some corn, and some onions, and some garlic, and man, some pig's feet.
All that.
Man.
All that. So you're gonna bring your brawler to DC?
Well, yeah. and the barbecue pit.
All that, huh?
You got to travel with.
Gonna load up the U-Haul?
Yes.
Absolutely.
At least one of those large U-Hauls.
Right.
When I move in, I'm gonna move in.
Right.
There's some things you gotta keep.
Wow. And with that too, because you were with Richard Nixon's team, so you were able to be in the White House at that time?
I visited the White House several times. More often, we met outside of the White House.
Okay.
Where Richard Nixon loved Scotch whiskey. And I'm talking about expensive Scotch whiskey. Stuff that would today be like $1,000 a bottle.
Wow.
And so I enjoyed sipping on Mr. Nixon's Scotch.
Uh-huh.
And we would do business, and then he liked to tell jokes.
Oh.
And some of those jokes would be very politically incorrect.
Really?
Oh, yes.
So these politicians, well, at least maybe back then, they normal people, huh?
Absolutely. I was sad to see that he got into that Watergate thing, and he had some people around him who were not very loyal to him.
With the recordings and everything, so.
Right.
Right. Wow. It's tough to see those things. But for you, I think you'd be all right though. I was wondering if you went to the White House and everything, and you've been all over. Which state that you lived in was besides Louisiana, was the best one to you?
Seattle, Washington.
Really?
Oh, yes. You had the mountains. You had the seashore. You had the fresh fish, fresh seafood. Oh, man.
And how long were you out there?
I think about 5 years, 4 years.
4 or 5 years. And that was the best one, besides Louisiana, of course.
Well, now, Maryland was real good. New Jersey was real good.
Yeah.
But if you forced me to make a choice, I would say that Seattle, Washington. Well,
Wow.
the state of Washington.
State of Washington.
It was my second choice. Louisiana being my first choice.
Oh, absolutely. As much as we say like we're behind the times on some things, we could say when it comes to the highways and things of that sort, education, but home is home.
Home is home.
Home is home.
This is where you can zydeco and boil some crawfish and barbecue some squirrels.
There's nothing like it.
Man.
It's really nothing like it. That's why Louisiana is on fire. And like I said, we would talk to politicians, and not only am I talking to a politician, but I'm talking to, for me, an historian, because everything that you've taught me today. And I really appreciate your time and your wealth of knowledge and everything, Senator Elbert,
Take good care of my country.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you now, I'll be watching.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hold you to a high standard.
I know you will. I'm not going to let you down.
I know that.
Not going to let you down.
I wouldn't pass this baton to you if I didn't know.
Whew.
I was putting it in your hand. Hand of a good man.
Thank you, sir.
These eyes are old, brother. It doesn't take me. I don't have to talk with you for 6, 7 months to know who you are, to understand your heart, your character. That's being an elder.
I appreciate that. That's very powerful. I appreciate that. That's it's a lot for me.
Well, I told you I was going to invite you to my wedding.
You did. You did.
That's special.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the seasoning, the wedding, everything. And then, when you get to DC, just don't forget about us. Me, John, don't forget us about us down here.
I'm going to make sure. There'll be some more stuff for you to do.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And with that, guys, thank y'all for tuning in. Episode 3. Episode 20, part 3 with Senator Elbert Guillory. Thank you for the time. Going to see you guys again. And look, election's coming up. I'm not telling you to vote for, but he is running. So do with that as you may. Thank y'all. See you on the next one.
Toot.
What's up, Louisiana? Thanks for watching another episode of Louisiana on Fire. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Oh, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified for the next episode.